Okay, I'm about to show you something that I never thought any of our Canadian government officials would ever say. It's something a lot of us has been thinking and hoping our government would say it on behalf of our citizens. It's a clear shift from the usual political noise that we're used to hearing. Before we jump in, I want to thank Sherry and Susan from our community. They gave me the heads up on this story, and I'm thankful they did. The remarks came from the Premier of New Brunswick, and when I looked it up, I was surprised, but in a good way. It's not every day we hear a leader speak that directly, and I wish more premiers across Canada would follow that lead. Since this video is about New Brunswick, I thought I'd show you a few photos from the province. I've never been east of Toronto myself, but after seeing these photos, it's now on my list to visit. Alright, let's get into it.
Premier Susan Holt was in Boston, along with the other Eastern Canadian premiers, meeting with their Northeastern United States counterparts. On the agenda was the impact of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs. Holt was asked what joint initiatives Canada and the U.S. could form to ensure a skilled research and development labor force for the future.
I'm not going to pretend that folks in Canada don't see this as an opportunity for us to attract some of the brightest and best from here who are now seeing funding cut and challenges put in place. But I really appreciate Governor Healy and Governor Mills and all of the governors here the opportunity to talk about how we can partner better. So maybe we'll borrow your talent for a little while, and then when we get back to normal, because that's what we all want. We all want to get back to the normal relationship of Canada and the U.S. being best friends, great neighbors, and working for the mutual benefit of our societies, whether that's economically or with research or and social initiatives.
Okay, this is one of those moments where I just have to disagree. Susan says we want everything to go back to normal, and maybe that's true on the political level. But if you spent any time reading the comments in this channel, you know where Canadians really stand. We're not going to see the US the same way ever again. Sure, they might be the same people on the surface, but for a lot of them, their true colors came out. And that can't be unseen. Maybe things will settle down in about 4 years, maybe 10, maybe 20, who knows. But the trust, that's gone. No trade deal, no summit, no handshake is ever going to fix that. Because now we know what's behind the curtain. And Canadians? Yeah, we don't forget.
We've got some interesting things happening with clinical trials in New Brunswick. It's a great place to do a decentralized trial. So maybe we'll borrow some of the folks and then be able to give them back and build the kind of connected partnerships between our research organizations that will stand through the test of time. I think on the energy side, we have a lot of opportunity in New Brunswick, like in Ontario, where there's nuclear capacity, where we do supply a lot of energy products to the entire New England seaboard and to Maine, that we can build some shared talent in that energy infrastructure that needs to become even more resilient and even more strengthened. I think we can tie our grids together in ways that are going to benefit both of our countries, and we can build the kind of talent pools through joint training initiatives and through other partnerships that will see us through to the other side of this when we get back to normal.
Okay, this is just the usual political back and forth. Just ideas being tossed around a round table meeting. And let's be real. When there's cameras on you, you say what sounds good. You promise progress, even if nothing really changes. But here's what stood out to me. Susan reminded those governors of one important thing. Canada is already pulling its weight. We're providing power to much of the eastern seaboard, and we're not waiting around. We're already delivering. Now listen to this next part. You rarely hear someone in politics say it like this. For me, it was a straight up, right on moment.
With respect to fewer Canadians planning trips to the U.S. this summer and the negative implications that's having on the American tourism industry, Holt was clear on where she stands.
It's challenging for us to hear from our fellow colleagues that they're seeing a massive drop in tourism. And we know that means that somebody who's working at Hampton Beach, like Governor Healy used to, might be losing their job. Or that all of that, was a 36% decrease in spend in New York. That means people in the US are losing their jobs in tourism. And we don't like to hear that. But what we want to say to them is, you got to make noise. You got to tell your leader that this is hurting the American economy, that this is hurting jobs in the US.
This is what I've been saying since day one on this channel. The governors across the table need to fix the mess in their own country, not come crawling to Canada to patch it up for them. Susan worded it carefully, though. Sure, she framed it as if she was speaking to the everyday American losing their jobs. But let's be real. That message was for the governors. Tourism struggles in the US. Yes, that's not Canada's responsibility. Coupons, discounts, and golf balls are not going to bring the people back. Canadians are pushing back and making a stand. We're not crossing over. If you look at the No Kings protests, it's spread across all of the US, and they're making a stand too. Meanwhile, what are these governors actually doing? They're trying to strike a deal with the premiers instead of facing the real problem at the White House. So something to think about.
But I can't tell Canadians to come visit the US right now. I'm going to tell them to go and see my neighbors in Nova Scotia. I'm going to tell them to spend some time at home.
There it is. Susan Holt just told the US governors exactly what Canadians need to hear. She didn't sugarcoat it. She didn't try to sell us some cross border tourism deal. She stood with Canadians and said it flat out. She's not encouraging anyone to head south. Instead, she's urging us to travel within Canada, visit our neighbors, support each other. Well done, Susan, and thank you for standing up for Canada. So, what does this mean in the long term? If we keep standing together with our friends in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Central and South America, and even Asia, maybe other premiers will follow her lead. Maybe they will say it too. We're not telling Canadians to visit the US. But let's be real. We already know at least one premier who will never say that. So what do you think of Susan's message? Do you think she sides with Canada? If this video resonated with you, hit like, subscribe, and share it on Facebook or wherever you can, because this is how we get the word out. And if you're still here, I thank you and appreciate it. That's it for today, and we'll see you in the next video.